Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Cinema.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And here are our first impressions of Terramara.
Terramara is a new game published by Quined Games and designed by Virginio Gigli, Flaminia Brassini, Stefano Luperto, and Antonio Tinto. Yeah, I had to read that from the box.
It plays from 2 to 4 players in about 2 hours.
So Terramara is a pretty straightforward worker placement game, which has like this one mechanism where you can basically send your guys into the future or into future territories, which is said in the Rulebook, to be able to do better actions, but then you won't get them back at the end of the round. So it's basically that's it. You're gonna do worker placement actions to get resources, to upgrade those resources, to build artifact cards, which will give you special powers and victory points, while you also will be advancing on 3 different tracks. And that's basically what you're doing in the game.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the rulebook. The rulebook of Terramara is whooping 15 pages long. That's not too long. I said whooping, which sounded like it's going to be like 64 pages long. It's like 15 pages long. And it's a pretty okay rulebook. I had some problems that I didn't understand when I played it, or the first time I read it. I was like, hey, what is this? Especially the concept of future territory. It doesn't like tell you that that's the thing in the game. It just that when it says where you can place to, just that you can place to, it's in future territory. So I'm like, what is that? What is a future territory? I didn't know. I might have overlooked it, but I had tried to see. I can't find it in the rulebook before that. So it was kind of confusing for me to try to explain the rules and see what happened, because I didn't understand completely how the game works out. But when we started playing, most of it makes sense, really, because it's a pretty straightforward game. Like I said, get resources, buy stuff, and get points is basically what you want to do. So the rulebook has a lot of nice pictures, nice examples, and is all around a pretty decent rulebook. Not something amazing, but not horrible either.
Yeah.
So playtime, player count. How many players have you played this with?
We played it with 4 and 2 players.
4 and 2 players. Yeah, we played it twice. 4 and 2 players. It took about 2 hours and 45 minutes with 4. That will go down if you play it again, because it was a learning game and we had to check the rules. We had to go back. People were like, "Oh, what's going on?" And it's gonna go quicker if you play it again. And we played with 2 players in 1.5 hours, which I think is a pretty decent time for this game. So
is that including setup?
No,
it's not.
No, never.
No, and I'm just
never taking time with setup.
Yeah, but just because we used a pretty much long time with setting up for 2-player games. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, because a 2-player game has like a dummy player system, which makes it hard to play this the first time with 2 players, because you're kind of planning what actions will be harder to take by setting up workers of different colors that you're not using. And also you will randomly remove some spaces, and then you will basically put up some of the not used people to block them off. But after the setup, it works pretty well as a 2-player game as well. Yeah. I would rather probably play with more, because you don't have that dummy player that doesn't do anything. I like more of usually worker placement games when they don't have like a good way of taking down the action spaces. I didn't really feel like that worked so well here, because it's if you put them like randomly like we did, I didn't feel like that worked so well, because you end up in bad positions. I don't know what you think about that, like the 2-player version.
It could be just a random thing with that as well, instead of choosing. But as you said, then you could be in a bit of a pickle with it's being really hard to get one type of resource and really easy to get another.
So the replayability here is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Because like you have 2 different tiles all the way down. Like you have level 1 tiles, 2 tiles, and 3 tiles, which you put 2 of each of them, like 4 level 1, 4 level 2, 4 level 3, and there's kind of double that, I think. So you're gonna have a different board each time you play, which is gonna give different ways to get resources, different problems that you have to overcome, like, how am I going to get that resource now? And that makes it a really high replayability game.
Yeah.
The cards are going to come out differently. You're going to buy new cards, and that's going to give you different routes to go. But other than that, it's going to be almost the same game. Like the only difference is going to be like, okay, will I get 3 bisons, or will I get 2 bisons and a hide? Like doesn't change up too much, but it will change up the special actions you get when you flip them over a bit to do at the end of the round, and the special scorings will be different. So
That's true.
especially the scorings what you go for will be different.
Yeah. What I really like is the special player powers that really adds to the replayability of the game. It gives you something to focus on, and I think then you can play focus on different things and make the game feel very different for you. But it's only so many, so it's not like infinite possibilities with that either, but it's pretty decent, I think.
Yeah. So this is a worker placement game, and there's a lot of worker placement game. And the one thing that this does differently from most worker placement game is that you can place your dudes into the future or into future territories to be your dudes into the future to be able to do better actions. That's like the only big major difference. And do you think that's enough? What do you think about this game? Do you think that it's different enough to be a good worker placement game?
Yeah, I think so. I think sending your dudes into the future,
TM.
in the beginning of the game, we were just like, oh, we want to keep our dudes because they're very valuable, but the board fills up and you have to, really, sometimes you can't do the actions that you want to take in the now territories. It's full, it's blocked, or you don't have any, military, so even if it's not one space left, you can't go and get it, and then you have to go to the future. Or maybe you see that hides are going to be tough to get now, and in the future I have to save that spot. And I think when we dare to do that more, we saw the advantages of it. And I like that mechanism. I really like it.
Yeah, so to explain how it works, you have every action space has room for 2 dudes. 2 workers, I'm going to call it workers. 2 workers, and also have a chieftain that can go anywhere, but only if there's only one there. And if you want to go somewhere where somebody else has gone, you have to have more military than them. And the military track is pretty hard to go up on, so you have to really work hard to get those military points. But then if I go somewhere where you are, and I have more military than you, then I will lose a military point to do that. So I'm basically fighting my way in there to get those resources. So what do you think about the military track?
I think being low on the military track is bad. Then you at least have to go high on the what do you call it? The Caravan?
Yeah, the Caravan track, yes.
If you have to at least get high on one of those, or you will be sending all of your guys to the future, I think.
Yeah, the problem with, of course, with the balancing is that you can send it to the future and do that, but then you will have less actions in the next round. So I think that especially in 2 players, we felt like it. I went really heavy for military, and I could basically do whatever I wanted. And especially since I had a special player power, I didn't lose military when doing stuff, so I just could do whatever I wanted. And you were really forced to not do that because you had problems in getting military, because I usually went and took the military actions, and
that was tough. That was so tough, and I feel like I was just thinking, it hasn't got a catch-up mechanism, but it does then, because when you go to space, you lose military. But in that game, you didn't. I couldn't catch up with you.
I could do whatever I wanted, and also the dummy players were getting military, so we had to keep up with them to be able to go to the places where we put those in the beginning of the game. So there's 2 more tracks. We already talked about the Caravan track, which is basically a track where you get bonuses, and you can also stop for getting final scorings, end of game scorings. And then you have the canoe track, or the river, where you will go with your canoe. You will get some different abilities, but also that's where all the artifacts are. So you have to move up on that to be able to have more artifacts to choose from. So in the beginning of the game, you only can choose the 2 that are on the right side of the track, and then you will get better and better. So I think that's also an interesting thing. You have to go on that.
And it also gives you an extra worker.
If you go high up on the river, and also if you go halfway up or something, a little bit less than halfway, you will be able to start reserving cards. So if I can't buy that card, I don't have the resources, but I really want to buy that card, I can take it in my hand. But if I can't pull it throughout the game, I will lose 5 points.
And so also, what I really meant about that you have to go on the Caravan track if you're low on military is because if you move both of your caravans far enough, you get access to private action spaces that only those who advance the caravan get to go on.
Because at the end of each round, you will flip over that round's action spaces. So you'll have less action spaces basically available. And that will show a scoring and a special action space like the Caravan action
I like
space.
that I explain what I like and then you explain
Yeah. Because
what
we
I'm
haven't
talking
we
about.
haven't explained anything yet, so it might be a good way to do it. You can just watch this the other way around, and it will be more make more sense. So the thing that is really interesting, I think, like the most interesting thing here is that when you then have sent people to the future, and you get to that round, that action space might already be filled. So it might be if I want to take that action, I have to do it before that round comes around. And that might be my favorite thing in the game.
Yeah.
That when you come down, okay, I need that now, but no, that's blocked and I cannot go there. And it's really, so it feels like a really tight game because it's hard to get the resources you need to be able to buy the cards. So that might be my favorite thing is that when sending them to the future blocks them off for you, but it also blocks the space for somebody else.
Yeah, and we have to talk about the raids.
Yeah. So you can steal resources from other players. We don't usually like that, and I don't like it here either. I don't really see the reason for it. Basically, if you already are high at military, you can lose a military and steal resources.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I like this because if you're high on military, that means that you're already going to have a better chance of getting resources than the other players, and then you have like additional you can steal from the other players as well. I like that it gives like a certain amount of pressure that okay, I'm saving up for that card, but I could get a raid, so I can't hoard all the resources in the world. I think that's nice.
I like that part. Yeah,
the raiding part in itself, it makes you then you have to go up on military. It's like another urge to be high and not very low on military track, and the game actually quite forces you to go on the military track.
Yeah.
Like 2 reasons to take actions and not get raided for all your resources. I'm not sure that I like that too much.
No, I think like most things in this game is fine.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing here that's mind blowing. There's nothing here that is it works. It's good. It's fun. But it feels like a game where you will basically take resources, transform them into better resources, buy a card.
Yeah.
Get resources, transform them into resources, buy a card. So the interesting,
advance
on the tracks and try to of course maximize your points. But it doesn't feel like there's anything here that makes me really excited. There's nothing here that makes me like, ooh, I want to play this. When we played with 2 players, I was like, oh, this is fun. But that might have been like because I just did well. But I think, did you win?
No.
Oh, but it was really close.
Yeah.
It was really
close.
The
first time we played with 4 players, I did really well.
Yeah.
Then I thought it was more fun because but not because I did well in itself, but the last time we played, I couldn't do like almost nothing because I was so low in military and kind of just like it. Yeah, it was boring that.
And then if you send all of your guys to the future, you won't have anyone in the next round. So it's not like that really can't be a catch-up mechanism either.
Yeah, you can't do it all the time. That's impossible.
So I think there's some flaws here or something that we don't like. And you might have like, if you're used to watching our videos, you might have seen that we're not like bursting at the seams talking about it because it is a good game. But it's nothing groundbreaking and it's nothing I would seek out playing.
I want to play it again because
it's a good game.
Because it's a decent game, and it's still some of the strategies that I haven't pursued yet. But it was a little bummer for me last time to discover that being low on military was really hard. It doesn't seem like it seems balanced, but it wasn't that fun for me.
And of course, it's our first impression, so there might be strategies that we haven't seen or ways to play that we haven't seen. But these are just our thoughts. So should we do final thoughts?
Yes.
Do you want to start?
No, you.
I will start today. Yes. Okay, it's good. I just ask you, and I will start today.
Yes.
So I think this is a fine game. I think it's fun to play, but it's not one I will seek out because it's so many games that are better for me. They're from these same designers as well. I think it works. I think it's solid, but it's not amazing. So I'm gonna give it a 7. I think it's a good game. I will play it if somebody's like, oh, I want to play Terramara. I will play it. I will not be sad playing it because it's a fun game, but it just feels too much of a get stuff, transform them, buy something. Get stuff, transform them, buy something. Doesn't feel like there's so much to explore. Doesn't feel like doesn't excite me really to play. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah. This for me is a classic 7. It's one of those games that are solid. It's good. I will enjoy playing it, but it will most likely stay on the shelf collecting some dust because there are so many other great games. And as I said, it doesn't like tickle the excitement for me, this game, but I have a nice time playing it, and it's a really solid game that if you think that sending your guys off to the future sounds exciting, and I think there are some people that will love that mechanism and adore this
and I
game.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
Did you give it a rating? Yeah, 7. You said it was a 7. You
I
said it was a
just-
classic 7.
Whee!
But yeah. So that's the end of the review.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
And I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye bye.